Real estate is not about buying and selling the house. It's about how you connect with the clients that trust you, that give you that opportunity to earn their trust and confidence as a real estate advisor. Because nobody, I can tell you for me, nobody cares how many houses we've sold. They care how we are going to help them navigate their current situation. And so through that, I've been able to apply like that empathy, problem solving, able to connect with what's important to them and not what I think what's important to them.
Welcome to the Jeff Sutherland Show. Let's grow today as we learn from decades of real estate and leadership experience.
We want you to know that when you log into this show, you're going to get authentic conversation. We're going to give it to you straight, and it's going to be real. Hey everybody, Jeff Sutherland on the Jeff Sutherland Show today, and we have another winner on the show. As I said, Chase, we should just call this show Winners Only. So winners only. Yeah, Winners Only. We got Chrissy Valentine here today, and this woman has quite a story. Before we kind of get to her, just briefly, Chase, anything going on out there you want to share out in the marketplace? We're hustling. Chase had 2 closings yesterday. That was a good day for him. Just another week for Chase Waldron. So, Chase, what's going on in your world?
Yeah, man, the good Lord's blessing us. We're staying busy. We're seeing a lot of good stuff, especially for buyers right now. A lot of concessions being given. Listings are sitting on the market a little bit longer. We're seeing a few more reductions happen. So a lot of good news for the serious buyers out there. And then obviously we hit on it a lot of concessions being made out there in the new build space. So always busy over there as well. So it's been a lot of good stuff happening.
So good, Chase. In fact, we recently put a buyer under contract for a fixed 30-year mortgage at 3.75. Yes, it can happen. All you got to do is call us, and we can get you in touch with the right people to see what your purchasing power is. Nothing wrong with that. So there's a lot of good opportunity, and a lot of people just don't know about it. But today we're talking about Chrissy Valentine. This woman is just a sensational lady. Listen to this. She was a formal social worker turned real estate powerhouse who spent the last 7 years helping families buy, sell, start fresh, one chapter at a time. I'm sure she's very skilled at developing relationships with her past work. So with 20 years plus of experience guiding people through major life transitions, and she brings a rare blend of emotional intelligence and tactical strategy to the world of real estate. She led a top-performing team, closed over 100 houses. I see her out there all the time hustling. She's getting the job done. She now teaches agents how to create consistent business through systems that convert, especially in today's market, real stuff that really works. So she's the creator of Open House Mastery, a 4-week course designed to help agents stop winging it. That's true, Chrissy, they do wing it, and start turning open house traffic into real business. Known by her peers as humorously informative. I want to hear some humor today, Chrissy. She has a gift for making complex strategies simple, relatable, repeatable, and her mission is to help agents thrive in this industry without burning out, because that is a fact. A lot of agents burn out. So, Chrissy, I can't wait to learn from you today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I want to meet who you're talking about because she sounds really cool.
Yeah, she does sound cool. Chrissy,
well, thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Tell us your story. I mean, how'd you get to this point? We want to hear.
Well, like many other agents, real estate's my second career. So I spent 15 years working in social work. Foster care and adoption, we did not make numbers with 6 figures in them. We made 5-figure amounts right there. And so I worked in foster care and adoption, which gave me this really deep understanding of connection and how that's so important in relationships. I was guiding families through the journey of fostering and adoption. I decided one day I was done with that industry and decided to leave my salaried job with benefits to do this real estate thing. Because why not? Well, who needs a salary or benefits or any of that? Got into real estate, wondered what the heck I was doing several times, and cried a lot my first year. But what I also learned really quickly was that real estate is not about buying and selling the house. It's about how you connect with the clients that trust you, that give you that opportunity to earn their trust and confidence as a real estate advisor. Because nobody, I can tell you for me, nobody cares how many houses we've sold. They care how we are going to help them navigate their current situation. And so through that, I've been able to apply like that empathy, problem solving, able to connect with what's important to them and not what I think what's important to them. Does that make sense?
Totally. I totally agree, by the way. I remember my first year in real estate, 2002. I remember one night I was so stressed out, I drank a whole bottle of wine, and I'm not even a big drinker. And that's how stressed out I was. So I get it. That first few years was hard, but you hit it on the head. It's like it's really about what they need. They don't really care about your accolades. What can you do for them today, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have to listen. And I think that's what a lot of agents miss, at least a lot that I talk to, is they're so caught up on wanting to dump all their knowledge, like all the things that they know to the people there, not even knowing if it's important to them. So our job as agents is to learn how to ask the right questions to get to what they're wanting to do. Like what is actually important to them so we can achieve that metric as opposed to just getting to the closing table.
So agents verbally vomit on people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, verbal vomit. I actually use that word too. Are you verbally vomiting right now? Is this word vomit?
So how did some of your social work techniques and skills relate to your real estate business? I'm sure they transferred very nicely.
Yeah. So when I was in foster care and adoption, I kind of ran that front end where I was interviewing families and getting prepared to do this foster care and adoption journey. And through that, it comes with a lot of like, what is your own story and how is it going to impact the kids that come into your home? So same with real estate, like getting into this, we have to really understand why these families are making this move. What are their needs? What are their fears? What's their motivation? And so being able to ask open-ended questions, that's one of the techniques I brought over, is you never ask a yes or no question. The worst one, Jeff, I'm sure you know this, is don't ever ask somebody, do you have an agent? It kills the conversation right there. Like that's a yes or no. But how do you ask those questions in a way that fosters them to want to answer and talk to you and show that you understand? You don't have to put on a facade. You don't have to fake to be somebody else. You have to be you, but you have to be real, transparent, open you with the skill set to talk to people.
Yeah, that's so true. Yes and no statements. So instead of, do you have an agent? Or how about something like, hey, do you have somebody that's sending you great properties in the marketplace?
Is that a yes or no?
Yeah, kind of. But, how could we switch that over, Chrissy, to what do you use? Tell us.
I use, how are you looking for homes so far?
Oh.
Write that down. You want to write that down?
Yeah, I'm going to write that down.
I actually see you literally writing it down.
Yeah. My State Farm pen here. Yeah.
So, no, but people really need to know like that you're genuinely invested in helping them and not just trying to check off a checkbox by asking questions.
And I got a question, Chrissy. So you said that you left this salary job, right? Benefits. We kind of breezed over that a little bit, but we talked to a lot of people who are kind of in the same boat. And I know I felt it before getting into real estate is, man, is there anything else out there, right? People dream about working for themselves, doing their own thing, maybe not working for a big corporate company, but it is a scary thing, right? Jumping in, not really knowing what to expect. I mean, tell us about that experience for you and kind of what made you make the shift and what kind of a mindset you needed to have to, make that happen.
No, absolutely. I, first of all, would not recommend anybody just leaving their job to do this. You should probably have like a cushion or something in place for that. But for me, especially being the person that I am, and I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we do best when our back's against a wall. Like when our back is against a wall, we have to make this work. We have to figure it out. And it brings out this part of you that you don't know existed. And I think that's a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm sure you guys remember when you started too, like it was stressful. You don't know anything. You just have to figure it out. Otherwise, the alternative is getting another 9-to-5. And I'm 7 years into this career and I there's days when I'm like, I should get a job, one of those JOB things. And I'm like, I'm not cut out for that anymore. I can't answer to anybody else.
No.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, something that's really cool is right now with unemployment being what it is, we have skill sets as entrepreneurs in real estate that we can take with us anywhere. Like we wake up every day unemployed, but we're employed by ourselves and we get what we put into the work. And so if, hey, one client fires us, guess what? We're going to go find another one.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So the people who are kind of on the edge, on the fence, like, oh, not sure. I'm kind of thinking about jumping in, but I got this, nice salary job, 401k, all the stuff. I mean, what would you tell that person, right? Any advice you would give to them before they do make the jump?
Look at like, what do you really want? What is that life that you want to build on the other side? Don't look at it as replacing your salary because it will not just replace your salary. Real estate changes who you are as a person. It'll change how you show up for yourself, your family, your clients, and all of that. So you have to decide on what kind of life that you want to live on the other side. and then see, can I build a business that supports that life? So,
Sure.
Story back to what you're talking about, Chrissy. It was 2002, and I left Intel Corporation. I was a pretty high-ranking manager over there, and I decided to go into real estate. And I started working for a new home builder, a national new home builder. And I remember the first 3 months were brutal because they put me in Casa Grande, and at that time, bad credit, not a lot of formidable buyers, not a lot of strong buyers were walking in. In fact, I had to
is there any
share
good
it.
houses out there, Jeff? Was
There
it tumble?
were, yeah. Well, the first time I got on the site, they were picketing the site, the actual the models, because there was toxaphene in the soil. Okay, so that was my first day on the job. So I'm sharing a competitive floor with two other ladies that were in their 20s, and I was in my 30s with two kids. So I would see about 3 people run through the models a week. Okay, and usually 2 of those were bankrupt. Maybe one had bad credit. Okay, so I'm sitting in a sales meeting, Chrissy, and the VP of sales, I'll never forget this. He's like, some of you here have one toe dipping in the water and you have another toe outside of the water because you know that if this doesn't work out, you've got a fallback plan. And I was like, man, he targeted me because he knew. I knew. In fact, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know what? If this doesn't work out, I'm going to go back to corporate. No problem. I can get hired. No problem. Right. But it's really a burn the boats philosophy, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to do this, you have to know that there's no other options, right? And that's why I know salespeople that are in different industries that go out and they buy like a car, or they go out and they like put some money down for some big purchase just so they can like have a big why to dig themselves out, right? They have to have something that's going to like propel them. So to your point, I totally agree, right? Yeah, totally agree.
I'm still caught up on you were in Casa Grande in 2002. So he left me back there. But no, that's awesome. So
Yeah. So do you use any like certain techniques that you used in social work in real estate? I mean, I know listening skills and empathy and things, but do you have any like certain techniques that you could share, like that really help you build relationships with people?
I think we talked about one of those, never asking yes or no questions is a big one. And then I don't know if it's necessarily a technique, but actually caring. I don't know how you can't fake that, but we in our industry, we have that saying, the commission breath saying, where if all you care about is getting that commission, you're not going to get it because people can smell that from a mile away. But it's how do you frame the questions? And I don't know if it's necessarily a technique, more as I've teased out the framework of how to ask those questions. Like I actually teach this in one of my course is how do you ask questions that build trust versus just checking a checkbox. Because when I started, I'm sure you guys have heard this too. Have you heard of LP Mama? You guys heard that one? It's like location, price, mortgage, agent. Like it's this checkbox. One of my first coaches gave me that's every phone call, you have to get the answers to this. LP Mama. And I don't even remember what they stand for. So, but you're supposed to ask like their location, their price, their mortgage, and all those other things. And it felt like just a checkbox of questions. And so when you're talking to somebody off of a script, which by the way, I don't use scripts because they feel disjointed. And then the person on the other end doesn't seem to know they're on a script. So they seem to answer different questions. How rude. I mean, I have a script. But that, and to your point, to answer the question, is just being able to change how you relate to people. You have to be able to have the mindset that you want to connect with them and not just answer this checklist of questions and call it done.
For sure. It's fluid, right? It's got to be a conversation. Every single one's a little bit different. So yeah, no doubt. So we know that you're big in open houses, right? Did you start doing open houses basically right out the gate, right when you started?
I totally did. So my first mentor, someone I really looked up to, told me I built my business off open houses. And so being me, I'm like, okay, that means I have to go do open houses. So I got the big signs, the ones you weigh down with the rocks. So I was driving around in my RAV4 with big rocks rolling around in the back all the time. It was a good time. But I would sit those open houses like 4 to 5 days a week. And I would just continue to go and sit there and people came in and I'll tell you, I had no idea what to say to them. Like no clue outside of, do you want to buy this house? And then I had my sign-in sheet. I bought the fancy apps to have people sign in. I'd get all these fake numbers like Daisy Duck or Donald Duck and numbers that wouldn't work. But I thought they were successful because I'm like, people came in and they talked to me. But what really mattered was what they talked to me about. But I didn't nail that down. So I was working so hard with no system, no skill set, no abilities. And every once in a while I got lucky. But in order to scale something like that, you just have to work more. And there's no hours in the day. I'm sure you guys have learned this over time too. Is like, how do I hone in so I can work less and make more? That's the goal, right? It's never to work more and make more. It's always like, how do I work less and make more? Oh,
definitely. So you started hammering them. You were doing them 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. So when did it kind of click for you, or did you run across someone or a training or something that showed you, hey, maybe these are the questions to ask to get them to kind of open up and share what they're looking for? I mean, when did all that kind of start clicking to where you really started killing it at the open house game?
I will tell you, this is actually funny. So I was in the office. There's this one agent that was also on the team. He drove me nuts because he was just so good at what he did. And he was so cocky about it. Like, it seemed cocky to me about it. Like, he was so good at talking to people. He wouldn't work half the time, but when he showed up, he would just close the deal. And I'm like, what are you doing differently than I am? And I need to know what you are doing. And so, ironically, he has since left the industry and is now one of my clients, by the way. Oh, there's that thing. But I was chatting with him in the office. I'm like, there has to be a different way. I need to know how I do this better. And so he was able to connect me with somebody that had built this out, like built out all the lessons, the failures, the systems to train agents on how to do it. And I wasn't even looking to switch. I wasn't looking to go anywhere. I'm like, I met them and I'm like, well, this is what I need. This is how I need to get to the next level of business, because what I'm currently doing is not sustainable. I closed 22 homes my first year out of luck, sheer luck and just effort. I didn't see my kids. I didn't get to like live a life. And I'm like, that's not sustainable for me. So I wanted to level up that space. And so I joined a team to work on those skills. And I can tell you at the very beginning, I was terrible at it. Like, I sounded so bad, and it took a lot of practice to do it.
Yeah, I think I feel like that's a good news for a lot of newer people. I mean, I'm newer in the industry, and I know that, like, sometimes it takes a while to get it, to really get in the flow, to feel comfortable when you're having these conversations, to know what to ask for. And so it's good to hear that someone that's on your level killing the game, right? Everybody has to start somewhere, right? You gotta get out there and do the reps, and sometimes you say dumb things and then you're like, that's a lesson. I know I'll never say that again,
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you say dumb things, I'm like, oh my God, I've said so many dumb things. I don't want to hear
Right,
it.
right. And it's okay, right? It happens. You work past it. That's how you learn. We tell a lot of people that are like, haven't done a lot of open houses. It's like, man, you really got to get the reps in, and it's just like anything else in life. You got to practice.
And it's one of those, like, I mentor agents, but they're like, well, what do I say?
Right.
They're going to know I don't know what to say. And I'm like, guess what? They don't have a script. They don't know any different anyway. Just like when you're making calls, they don't have a script. They don't follow the script because they don't have one.
Yeah.
So it's more of how you approach it. And it's not just necessarily just reading something or having the right thing to say. There is no right thing to say ever. So,
Right.
yeah.
For sure. Now, with the open houses, what are there any specific tactics that you can share that you have kind of implemented that you see a huge difference in? I mean, number of signs, type of signs, how long do you hold them open? Some people hold them open for 2 hours, some people hold them open for 12 hours. What are kind of anything you could share on that front?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say anytime you're doing an open house is a great day to do an open house. Like, people try to hone down the perfect time or day. I'm like, you're sitting out there as a storefront for people to come into. There's never a bad time to do that. Of course, I think like 8 p.m. on a Sunday night is not a good time. So don't do that. But any day you want to sit in an open house, go sit the open house, get somebody in there, do the effort. Because I believe that at the beginning, what you lack in skill, you make up for in effort. Go up and show up.
Definitely.
And other tips, trying to go back to your question, what other tips with that? I put out at least 10 signs. I do 10 because they have to find your open house. I know a lot of people find them at this point, but they have to be able to find you. And I actually have the brightest pink signs because they can see those. Do not make your signs black, people.
Right.
Don't make black signs. People can't see them. They'll get lost. And so I do neon signs, and I tell people to do those. I actually give away a template to people too, so they can download that. But put out at least 10 signs. Do an open house whenever you can, and then don't push them. Like, I don't know how else to say that to people, but do not follow them through the house. Do not ask them to make an offer. Learn how to hold that conversation with them so that they want to talk to you. Because so many, I'm sure you do it too, at your open houses, Chase, their guards are up. They're waiting
Yeah.
for you to ask for their info so that they can tell you no. I don't know. Do you feel that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny, man. Everybody. And I mean, when I walk into places, I'm trying to think of an example, but when you're walking into a grocery store and you got the cell phone guy that's saying, "Hey, who do you have?" And you're just like automatically, right? You're trying to
Yes.
block them out. So, but that's what's so fun too is when you let them do their thing, and then you start having a conversation, and you see that their guard kind of going down. You're kind of having a couple laughs, building some rapport. It's a pretty good feeling, because they do definitely come, guards up in the front door at first.
It is a great feeling when they ask you for your information. Like, can we
Right.
have your information? I'm like, and here's another trick is since COVID, I haven't used a business card. I don't use business cards because people throw business cards away and they end up at the bottom of a trash can or a purse or whatever. So
Yeah.
tips that we can throw out there is just like, hey, since COVID, I don't use business cards anymore. I can go ahead and email you my information. How's that? And then you're capturing the contact info. And then after you capture that contact info, be like, hey, sometimes I mistype things. Is it okay if I grab your cell phone number real quick to text you to make sure it comes through? And by then they've asked you for your contact information. They've given you their email. They're going to give you your phone number at that point.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And,
interesting,
that's
Chase?
and that's a very lamb-like way to say it, right? Like, hey, yeah, actually, because of COVID, I don't use business cards, but what's a good email for you? I can email you over my stuff.
There you
I
go.
mean, it's not asking, hey, can I send you an email? It's, hey, what's a good email? I'll just email it to you. I think a big thing too is how you say things, right? Not only what you're saying, but how you say it. If you're going to be weird about it when you're asking, for someone's contact information, they're going to get weird and not want to give it to you,
I get that. Like, I see agents do it all the time. Like, there was a time, and I'll admit this to you guys, when I would secret shop open houses. Like, I would go in, not say I'm an agent. I don't know if this is allowed or not, so don't tell on me.
I love it. Yeah.
I would go in and just walk the open house and see how they did because I wanted to know how other agents were doing it. And I can't tell you the amount of agents where I would literally drop so many little cues to them of like, hey, yes, we're pre-qualified. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. And they would just continue to follow me around with a sign-in sheet. My seller needs you to sign in. No seller needs you to sign in, first of all. No seller ever needs you to sign in. And
No.
then I'd get hey, do you want to put in an offer? And I'm like, you didn't even ask me my name. You haven't even talked to me at all. Like, why would I want to talk to you? So it's just really weird, but I've never come to any of yours. I'm sure you do excellent. So
Well, I really am enjoying this conversation because I love open houses and I like picking brains of those who are dominating the open house space because it's always good to learn. So, um, and once let's say you have a good conversation with somebody, right? They ask for your information, everything's going good. What does that follow up look like for you? Because I know a lot of people get tripped up on the follow up. I don't want to follow up too quickly and look desperate, but I don't want to wait too long and then they forget who I am. What does that follow up game look like?
the saying that at least I have with my agents is 70% of the business is in the follow up. You never get that right now business. And that's what agents are looking for. And that's why there's this roller coaster of business. So for me, follow up is, first of all, simple thing, follow through, do what you said you would do. If you said, hey, I'll send you the house information, send the house information. Hey, you got their email, you're going to send them your contact info, make sure you send that over. And then you said you were going to follow up with a text, make sure you do that. And so it's very, very simple. And for me, I do it before I even leave the open house because I know me. The second I drive off, the second I pick up that last sign, I'm done. Like my mind is gone. I am done. I don't remember the notes. And this has happened to me from experience. I'll pull up the contact on Monday and be like, who is that? What did they talk to me about? And so from experience, I'll send all those out before, and then I'll just let them know. I'll check in with you. Whatever I said I would do, I make sure I follow through with. And then anybody that I meet, I make sure I let them know. I put them on a biweekly newsletter. I just send it out to anybody that I've talked to. I ask their permission first because I never ever want to spam somebody. Like, hey, I send out market updates twice a month. Is it okay if I add you to this list? It's slower going than buying a list of people, but I would rather have a quality list of people that actually read my emails than to buy 5,000 leads and plug them and spam them. For easiest way to piss somebody off is to spam them.
Yeah, that's interesting. How many are you still out there doing a lot of open houses nowadays, Chrissy?
I am to the point where I can do 1 or 2 a month and be good. So I'm no longer sitting them 4 or 5 days a week. Thank goodness, because it's hot outside and those signs are
sure.
hot. Yeah. So.
Well, that's good. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for the pink signs.
They're so bright. They're so bright. And actually, one of my mentees got bright neon green signs. So I'm like, perfect. Go do that.
Got to be like a fishing lure, huh?
Yes, they're so bright. I used them once because my signs were somewhere else. And I'm like, these are so bright. Everyone's going to see them from like a mile away.
So if you just joined us, we're listening right now to Chrissy Valentine and Chase Waldron having a very dynamic conversation. These guys are open house all-stars. Chrissy, you were mentioning you put out about 10 signs out, and Chase is famous for putting out 30. Okay. He puts out 30. Now, and check it out. When you go out there and you see his open houses, it's funny because you can always see Chase running around. He actually brings like a separate shirt because it's so hot out, and he's got his huge drill bit. It's like this long, right?
You want a drill bit?
Wow.
Yeah, the ones, they're not the A-frame. They're just the little the wireframe ones. So you got to, man, that ground's hard, especially out there in the summertime. So you try to do whatever you can to get them suckers in there. But
Yes, by the way, Chase, like when I started, I didn't know how to get those signs in the ground. I would just be pounding them in the ground with a rock that I found nearby. And now, 7 years later, I'm like, I could have used a drill bit.
Right.
But that's cool. 30 is a good number.
Yeah, that's the beauty of masterminding with other agents, right? Just those little things. You think everybody would think about that, but I didn't think about it either till my mentor told me, yeah, just use a drill. I'm like, oh, I guess you could do that,
So smart.
So, yeah. What else my opinion, Chrissy, is if you want a great open house, you need to do some really good marketing and prep work prior. So what do you do prior to actually going on site?
Prior to going on site, a great open house doesn't start when you have the open house. It actually starts on Monday for me. Like on Monday, you start looking for the open house. You have to have a plan, just like we keep talking about that system and the structure. What is your open house structure? How do you want to host this? So for me, it's Monday because most contracts get written over the weekend. Maybe not as many these days because we're in this market, but most contracts over weekend. So on Monday afternoon, I start looking for that open house. I find one that's easy to sign, looks pretty, hasn't been on the market. I have a whole kind of finder checklist that I use. I call the agent, have that conversation, ask about the open houses, or I hold one of my listings open if the sellers are open to it and set up that open house. Tuesday, you get the flyers made, maybe do a tour of the house, get some marketing material, go over there, do a video, do something with the house. So you're putting it out there. Maybe get some flyers printed if you use flyers with title and they can do that. Wednesday, start distributing those flyers. If you want a door knock, go out there, invite the neighbors to the open house. I do that not necessarily right now as much. When it's cooler, it's so much better. But you go out there, you door knock, invite them, but don't invite them just to sell the house. You have to use a specific kind of wording with that too. And the one that I use a lot because my primary demographic is families and children is I'll knock and just let them know like, hey, I want to let you know we're holding an open house. There might be increased traffic during that time. If you have kids, just want to let you know. And then just end the conversation at that. No one wants to be sold to at their door. And so you end it at that, invite them over. Say, hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask to answer any questions. They usually say no. You're like, okay, cool. Hope to see you there. Don't push. And so I do that. And then Thursday, same thing. I usually do Friday, Saturday open houses. So that's kind of my kind of structure.
I love it.
Let me ask you, Chrissy, say you do a Friday, Saturday open house. Are you doing the same house both days since you're doing all the prep work for that house?
Yeah, I usually try to keep it at the same house. Like I know I have some of my agents that are doing 3 different houses every weekend. I'm like, you go do that. Whatever you do, make sure though, you track your data on it. So I'll do the same house 2 days in a row because I've already set up and gotten everything done. Or if I can only get one day, I'll just do one day. But to the point that I just made a second ago is to make sure you track it. How many contacts did I have? How many conversations did I have? How many appointments did I get? How many did I add to my database? You track that over time because most agents will do one open house and say this doesn't work.
For sure. And when you're in it, do you try to, book an appointment from the open house typically?
Yes, that's the first thing you should go for. I know it's like the highest fruit. Yeah, that's the main goal. And gosh, so many people are so afraid of asking. I don't know if you guys have seen this, where they'll dance around the topic. Can I help you anyway? Can you do anything? Ask for the dang appointment. Just
Yeah.
ask for it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is you won't get the appointment, which you don't have.
You already don't have it.
So ask. Go ahead and ask. Like, find the opening. Again, I teach this in my course too. Like, how do you navigate that conversation? What signs do you look for to make that ask? Because you have to know. You can't just come and be like, hey, you want to meet? I just met you. I don't even know if I like you. So you have to build that and then ask. And then don't just give up after the first time you ask. I know, Chase, do you ask a couple times?
Yeah, typically and it's funny because there's that moment to where it's like, okay, we've discussed what you like, right? And then there's that awkward moment like, okay, where do we go from here, right? How, what happens now, basically? And typically, I try to ask a couple times, and I go about it a different way, but yeah, typically when I'm talking and we're having a conversation, about what they like, I typically ask, hey, we're in homes every single day. So if I come across something that kind of fits that criteria, maybe it's even under market value, is that something that you would want me to at least reach out to you and let you know about? And typically, they're like, yeah, sure, let me know, okay, great. Well, let me jot down some notes here. So then I kind of take notes and go over their criteria again. And then I kind of inch toward an actual appointment, by saying, hey, typically, I can shoot you over some listings. You can have a look, but you never really get a good feel until you're actually standing in the home, because sometimes, as you probably are aware, the pictures make it look a whole heck of a lot better sometimes than it actually is. So, and then I just, I ask, hey, if I am, right, you might be looking for a unicorn, but if I am able to find something that kind of checks these boxes, when's typically a good time to pop into a couple? Is it, evenings and weekends for you guys, or, and so I'm kind of inching closer and closer to the appointment, just asking those questions. And, at that point, typically if they've kind of went this long and we've gotten some yeses and some good feedback, most of the time they're willing to say, yeah, let's hold some time open just in case we do find something, and then we can kind of go from there. And then once we agree to the appointment, then it's like, okay, I'm following up. Hey, good news, Chrissy. We were able to find a couple homes. I'm working on getting us a reservation. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday at 5, like we talked about,
Love it. And that's what separates the general 90% of agents that fails out with the ones that are actually doing the business. It's having the gumption to kind of push through that conversation and ask, make that uncomfortable ask. Like, a lot of agents back off. They're like, oh, they didn't seem like they wanted to work with me. I'm like, they didn't seem.
Yeah, I swear. And even sometimes, and this is just, my experience sometimes, I mean, some conversations are a whole heck of a lot easier than others. Some people you just kind of click with, right? And then some people, it's not quite as comfortable. And I know that sometimes if I go and they walk out and I did not ask, I'm down on myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even I didn't even swing, I didn't even try. So
you just got to take that swing. It's so interesting when you don't chase them, when you're just providing value and then making that ask. So my last open house, I actually held one last weekend. I had 9 people come through. I grabbed 6 contact information and then set an appointment for a buy sell.
Wow.
So I did that. And then the following week on Monday, I confirmed the appointment, made sure the contact, even did all those things. And they wrote back and said, you know what, we're not ready. We're going to go ahead and cancel. My response, okay, no problem. Is it okay if we just keep in touch? I put them on my newsletter. They reached out yesterday. Like, hey, we still want to sell our house. Do you think you can come by? Guess who's going to a listing appointment tomorrow? That's what I'm doing. But it's just keeping in touch, making not pushing, but making that I made enough of an impression for them to want to ask.
Yeah, I feel like, and again, it was just kind of something that, I think about, especially when I was first getting started. It's like, at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do, right? You booked the appointment. And at the end of the day, it has to be the right time for them, and if you have done everything that you can do and it doesn't work out, then that's just a timing issue for them. And hopefully you did a good enough job and continue to follow up to where when it is the right time for them, you're the first person they think of, right? I mean, they make the decision, you know?
You mean clients don't work on our timeline? What?
Yeah. Right.
I was given this chart that said they do this at certain times. So
Right.
no, but to that point too, like that leads me to kind of that thought of agents learning to differentiate between what's an objection and what's a condition. The timeline is a condition. You cannot handle a condition with an objection handler. You have to know that. And so just being able to kind of navigate those, first of all, being able to differentiate between the two is key. And then building your tool belt of what are the objection handlers to handle those objections. And on the other side, the conditions, how do you partner with people that can solve those problems? What are your lenders? Who are your title companies? Who do you know that can help solve conditional problems? And then how do you yourself handle the objection problems? Because they're different things. So
That's good stuff. And Chrissy, this is a good segue. So you created a class, which I just love this. So tell us about the class, right? I'm sure you unpack a lot of this stuff in the class.
I do. And this was actually a labor of love for me. So it was about 7 months ago. I ran into someone who said, hey, you should build a course. And I said, well, who's going to want to listen to me? You know, all those thoughts, those imposter syndrome, all that stuff coming through. I'm like, who's going to want to listen to me? What value I'm going to have? And I am also your typical agent with a squirrel brain where I'll do one thing and then go do another and then whatever happens. And so it took me 7 months to put this together. But what I learned through this is like, I have actually gained so much knowledge through 7 years of making mistakes. I've made so many mistakes in trying to do this, cracked so many eggs, broken so many eggs in terms of like trying to figure this out. So I put it all together into this 4-week course. And it's not so much the logistics of how to set up an open house. I have a prep guide for that, but it's more of how do you hold the conversations? Because I know agents, they will go out there and they'll buy scripts, they'll buy templates, they'll buy all these things. They won't do anything with them. They're going to send their email boxes. They're not going to read them because they don't sound like them. But how do we get into your head and install the frameworks and the systems that help you approach any kind of conversation with confidence? Because I think a lot of agents are missing that too. They want to latch onto that confidence because that's what shows. And so I've done a fun twist with that too, with the advent of AI that we have right now. Throughout the entire course, I've built out prompts so you can train your ChatGPT to be your coaching partner. They can actually throw stuff in there, help you convert, talk to clients, like, and make it sound like who you are and handle each kind of objection and build your own skill set that way. So
This sounds like a great class. So how do people sign up? How do we know about this class?
gotcha. So I do have a website. It's chrissyvalentine.com. It should be something different, I think, but my coach told me to put my name on there because my name's unique and memorable. So it's chrissyvalentine.com. CHRISSY, Valentine like the holiday.com. And so the information's on there for the website to find it, to sign up. And I'm launching a cohort like every month just to see how it goes. I did a beta class just as I built it to test it out, all the kinks. The agent that I ran the beta class with just signed his 5th buyer last week, and he started in March. And we're in July.
Wow.
So it works. It does work. And I'm like, yes, I have some value to add. So
You have a lot of value to add, Chrissy. You're exceptional, and I'm glad you did that. That's great. It's got to be very fulfilling. I know it's very fulfilling for me when I coach agents and see them succeed. It's got to make you feel good when you hear that news about him signing up clients. So
no, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited for people to succeed than I am. Like I had an agent today. She just texted me, one of my mentees. She put a house under contract. I'm more excited for her than for myself because she's so happy about it. So
yeah,
I like watching other
fantastic.
people succeed.
Yeah. What's your next? Like when you think about, your next big project or, what are you thinking on the horizon? What does that look like to you to keep improving yourself and your leadership?
Gosh, I think we're bringing this full circle. Like at the beginning, we talked about what that big life is that we want to build. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're landing right now. So what I want to build, there was a time that I thought I wanted a team and I wanted to make all this business and wanted to do all the things and be on HGTV or whatever. I don't want that life. I want to make enough to support where I can work. I can help other agents succeed, help my clients succeed, and then live my life. I want to go to Disneyland. That's what I want to do. I just want to go to Disneyland. But that's really it. Like I would love to be able to help as many people learn to master open houses as possible. Because in my belief, there's more than enough business out here for everybody. Like real estate's not a zero-sum game. If you win, that doesn't mean I lose. Like Chase, if you got a contract, that doesn't mean that it's taking anything from me. Just like similarly, it's the other way, but it's not a zero-sum game. How do we help as many people succeed as possible? And if I can teach agents the skills to convert, we're going to level up the entire industry together. And that's, I think, what we need. So.
As you talk about that, I'm thinking about one of my favorite books. Maybe you guys have read it, Going from Good to Great. one of the greatest business books ever written. And in that book, they talk about the 3 concentric circles. Whenever you have a company that's hitting at a very high level, there's 3 things that exist. Number one, everybody's passionate about what they're doing, right? They completely believe in their product, their mission. Even the guys at RJ Reynolds, they sold cigarettes. They all smoked. They were passionate about cigarettes. They believed in it, right? And then you have number 2, an economic engine. Okay, so I'm thinking about open houses, right? Open houses are clearly an economic engine for success in real estate. So you got to be passionate, which you have, which Chase has. There's an economic engine. And thirdly, you have to commit to being the best in class. And I believe, Chase knows this about me, if you're going to do something, commit to being the very best, right? And it sounds like you're trying to master this. And for that, I'm so appreciative, because you're not only mastering it for yourself, but you're giving it to others and helping them win for their families. And I deeply respect that. I mean, Chase, what do you think?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, and we said it earlier, winners only, right? I mean, you're out here, you're doing it, you're helping other people, and it's great. And we talk about it a lot too, is a lot of people in this industry feel like they're alone, maybe they don't have a team. It's lonely. They're not sure if they're doing it right, if they're doing the right stuff, especially if you're just starting and you're doing things and it's not paying off right away. And so it's good to be able to plug into something like that, get leadership and mentorship from someone like yourself, so that people know that they're at least on the path, right? And it's only a matter of time before it pays off.
Yeah. And I'll just say one more thing. Sorry to interrupt, Chrissy, but we're in an industry where there's a lot of scarcity thinking, right? We kind of try to protect our own. Yeah, a lot of times people in different brokerages don't even talk because they're the competitor. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. It's like, if we all work together, and despite where we work, we'll elevate the entire industry, like you said, right? I mean, it's like, if you're just confining yourself to your own brokerage, that's on you, right? You won't learn as much. So we got to reach out to people that are doing it at a high level and mastermind on a regular basis.
No, I love that. And I agree with that. It's such a great feeling out there when you get a contract accepted by another agent that gets it. Like, and you just click on that phone call, you're like, oh, we're the same. And then it's going to be a really good escrow, because they're working together and not seeing this as zero sum. It's like, hey, you win, I win. And what I tell my agents all the time too is 6,000 homes closed last month in the MLS. Do you want to sell 6,000 homes? Do you have the bandwidth to sell 6,000 homes? Okay, then don't worry about the other people. You just need to get your 1, 2, 3, whatever you're trying to hit. Do that. Stop being like scarcity about it. I don't want to sell 6,000 homes. Chase, do you?
No, and I mean, that's a great point too, because you look at it on the other side of the coin, and that's a lot of business. There's the opportunities are endless, right? I mean, people talk about, oh, it's a hard market right now, and there's 6,000 homes closing in a month. So it's just going out there, doing the right things, doing open houses, and finding those people to help. There are people out there that need help.
Yeah. And taking it a little further, 6,000 homes closed. That's mean every sale has a seller and a buyer. 12,000 sides of a transaction happen. I don't want to deal with that many people. I just don't. I want to close my 2, 3 homes every month and that's where I'm good. And I think for agents, it's just finding what cadence and pace works best for you, and stop. To the whole point here is stop with the scarcity mindset.
What a great point. I mean, it's like, we got to remember, that's a lot of volume running through, and a lot of people believe this is such a down market. Listen, I've been through severe down markets, 2006, 2009, blood in the streets. I started a company in 2009 where 90% of the closings we had were short sales or REOs, where sellers were at the closing table crying at just about every closing. It was brutal. So I just look at people now and I'm like, listen, the market's between your ears. It really is. You can make money in any market. You just got to be in front of it. You got to know what's coming and know how to adjust your skills like you have. You've pivoted and you've mastered something that is clearly, arguably, one of the best lead gen strategies out there,
So you agree with that. So,
yeah. So, Chrissy, what did we talk about today? Or do you wish we would have talked about something? Anything else you want to bring to the table today? Because you've been an amazing guest. We're very, very thankful.
No, not really. I think we covered it all, and I really appreciate this conversation. It was a really great one. Like you said earlier, it's really great to mastermind with people that are doing the same thing and having that mindset of collaboration. That we're all in this together. We're all in this to win, and we can learn things from each other. I learned about this drill bit thing today. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, genius.
I'm glad we could give you something good today.
I'm glad we could drop one nugget for you, Chrissy, because I got a lot out of this too. So I sure appreciate it. I appreciate you being here.
Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks again, Chrissy. I'm glad you guys got to know each other. For those of you that watch our show, thank you. Please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends in the industry. We're here to help out. And for Chrissy, Chase, and myself, we're going to sign off. Have a great week, everybody.